A few months ago, I covered the weird rant about sexism in gaming by Frosk on G4. And now over the past few days, it has hit the news all over the internet. They have followed up now with a mostly nude Amaranth dancing around in a vat full of balls and making lewd and immature jokes. The utter hypocrisy. And I wanted to talk about it today. Now, I just want to address a couple of things to make sure that I'm being clear about my position on it. It is not that I enjoy in particular, I don't expect them to do the kind of entertainment where mostly naked women dance around in a vat full of balls or any of the weird innuendo stuff they used to do back in the day on G4. The issue is that when Frosk decided, because of a few people, maybe even a lot of people, being obnoxious in the chat, to lecture and attack the entire fandom, they not only doubled down, tripled down, they quadrupled down in support of what Frosk had done. It cost them fans and people began to tune out en masse. Now all of a sudden, after that whole episode of sexism and sexual innuendo in gaming and online and in video forums and et cetera, now they've suddenly resorted to doing something that they would have done a long time ago when they were on regular TV. The sort of thing that they used to do with Olivia Munn and the weird hot dog trick. I won't go into describing that here. Sure, is that allowed on YouTube? It probably is. Now, don't get me wrong. People online are obnoxious. If you spend any time on socialist media, then you know that people will attack you and drag you through the mud. They will call you names. They will make all sorts of innuendos about you. And they'll make a ton of sexual innuendos about women that appear on these platforms, if they're lucky. By what I mean is, you exist as a corporation and as an entity and as a personality to make money, to have viewers, to have engagement. Yes, some of those people are filthy degenerates, and some of them are not people that maybe you want hanging around. But there is a saying among YouTubers, monetize your haters. If you're on a show, if you're doing G4, now it's online, and you've got 500,000 idiots out there on the chat watching, saying obnoxious things that you don't like, they're hanging out on your video and on your chat. You are literally profiting from their behavior, and you don't have to even acknowledge it. You don't have to talk about it. You don't have to give it any credence at all. Every time someone shows up on my channel and tells me that I'm an idiot because what kind of grown man has superhero stuff, I don't delete the comment. I don't get mad. I don't block the user. I have very limited things that I will actually remove the comment for, and people who've come here know that and they know it from elsewhere. You lecturing the entirety of fandom because obnoxious people show up is really, really stupid. Not only are you attacking the people that are bringing you the financial reward, bringing you their viewership, their clicks, their engagement, but you're judging people by this handful. Or even if it's not a handful, even if it's 80% of the audience that day are a bunch of colossal jerks, you're making money off their being there, and the other 20% don't deserve to have you lump them together in this group. So you go on with your life, you profit from it, you monetize your haters, and you go on. Instead, of course, she decided to lecture the audience, put them all down, this essential, the incredible ability of intersectional feminism and CRT to be the most prejudiced thing ever, to literally lump together everybody that's white, everybody that's conservative, everybody that's Christian, everybody that's heterosexual, everybody in the chat. Somebody hurt my feelings, therefore everybody in the chat, everyone in the audience, you all need to grow up. Well, this is the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard. And people heard. And people began unsubscribing, not going there, not viewing, not engaging. And now, of course, everyone's having a big yuck about the hypocrisy of them now having a mostly naked woman dancing around in a big vat of balls and making jokes about it. But as much as it is ridiculous, the level to which they supported what Frosk said to their audience, the level to which they supported her to be well, politically correct would be the old term, to be part of this intersectional woke whatever. As much as it's ridiculous to see them switch so quickly, there is a positive aspect to this. And again, despite the fact that I had no particular need to see that kind of entertainment on G4, which I'm not watching anyway. If I ever had watched, I certainly will not now. Because of what they did there with Frosk, what they're doing now, I don't care. But the positive aspect of this is that they appear to have responded to the audience. The very thing that you wouldn't expect them to do based on how they double, triple, and quadrupled down on this idiocy and started bragging online about how great she was and she's enlightened and, I work with my heroes and all of this other sort of nonsense. If they reversed course this quickly, and a reverse course all the way back to what G4 was when it was like a TV show and not on YouTube, to reverse course that abruptly because people were clicking off, because people were unsubscribing, not engaging. That's really a hopeful and sort of optimistic trend, even though I have no use for any of it at either end. It means that a corporation is figuring out, and more corporations may, and some might be, there's sort of evidences across the spectrum that whole get woke, go broke thing is becoming a reality. If you look at what Paramount has done, continually rebranding it from CBS All Access to Paramount to whatever they are this week, recalling all of the classic Star Trek content. You can't get it without paying for it, whether you're on Amazon Prime or Vudu, because nobody is watching woke Star Trek. Kurtzman Trek is so bad, nobody's watching it. And literally, and someone called me out on this, saying this before, well, not nobody. Okay, not literally nobody. When you're getting a couple 100,000 clicks and views on something that is Star Trek, just in the United States are how many, 400 million people or so? And the global market, like nobody's watching it. The infinitesimally small amount of viewership you're getting is completely unsustainable. The only reason these shows are lasting is because of the new dynamic of the streaming platform. In the old days, advertising paid for your everything. And so when you were on a network, there were three networks, then four, then eventually cable. But when you got airtime, if you weren't making enough money to justify your existence, you were cut. Now everything's done by streaming. And even though they can see how many clicks, how many views, how long you watched it, when you clicked off, they have a product now that's this whole package. It's a whole catalog of material. And so they don't weigh it with the same sort of severity that they used to. Now they're willing to just throw everything at your screen and see what sticks, what keeps you subscribed, what might draw new subscribers, creating a plethora of content as a way to draw in a plethora of people. So the only reason they're still making most of this stuff is their messaging. They literally want to be making the woke political messaging. The message has replaced everything. And the only reason it's at all sustainable is because people are going there to watch classic Trek, or they're paying to watch it now on Amazon. They're watching your older material and your rare in-between good material. And that's what ends up financing all of this woke nonsense and garbage that nobody's watching. So in the long run, will it be able to hold out that way? As more and more of the stuff is just garbage, will the old stuff be able to keep sustaining it? If the corporations start to wake up to the idea of getting woke means going broke, that people don't care, and draw the right conclusions about Ghostbusters Afterlife, Spider-Man No Way Home. There's mixed feelings people are saying about the Batman. I'm not interested, I'm not going to see it. But Cobra Kai, these other phenomenal things that have begun to build on by just doing a good story, by not abusing and destroying the past, but honoring it, or doing something new, but doing it well instead of just doing the messaging. As those things are fewer and far between, but they exist and they're being successful, maybe more corporations are going to begin to wake up to this idea, we better change course. And as ridiculously hypocritical and how quickly they seem to have flip-flopped on it without even addressing the flip-flop. For G4 to go from quadrupling down on Frosk's weird rant and turn around and shove a half-naked woman in a vat of balls and make jokes about it, really seems to indicate that they're ready to flip-flop because they're going to go where the money is. And they lost too much money. So they immediately have now, well, recently they've been rebranding it into X-Play, shifting around how they're presenting everything, trying to put a new coat of makeup on an old thing. And now they're actually going back to being more like the old G4. So as much as I think they've probably burned all their bridges, it is actually sort of an optimistic thing to see them flip-flop in response to the actual audience and its concerns about what they had done.